Hi everyone, Dan from TellyStats here. This is the start of my Eurovision 2021 YouTube coverage. I'm a little bit late, I've been quite busy, but here we are, we're here now, ready to go. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going through each of the Eurovision videos, or at least the ones at the top of the market, and just reacting to them and reviewing them and talking about them from a betting perspective. I will try my best to give an indication of where I think they'll finish, at least the general position, but this year I would say is probably one of the toughest years I can remember in Eurovision. It's really no clear winner here. It's going to be a case where one contestant does really well with the juries, but maybe not so well with the televote. One contestant does great with the televote, but not so well with the juries. And it's going to be a kind of mishmash at the top. Anyone that tells you that they know for sure who's going to win Eurovision this year is a massive liar. No one knows. It's really, really hard to call. And it's one reason why you should definitely be watching TellyStats in running. Because of the pandemic this year, things are a little bit different. The acts are filming a kind of studio version to show if they can't make it to Rotterdam. We already know that Australia will not be performing live in Rotterdam. And the thing that I want to say about that is that any act that doesn't perform live is at an immediate and significant disadvantage. Now, we already have a precedent for this kind of thing. Britain's Got Talent last year. Some acts were able to perform live in the studio, but a lot of the acts could not. They had to kind of pre-record their performance and then show it later. What we found was that all the pre-recorded acts just lost their heart. It didn't really work. And I've got a feeling that that's going to be the case for Eurovision as well. Any act that has a pre-recorded performance is in trouble. So Eurovision is one of what I would call one of the three big events of the specials calendar. It's Eurovision, Strictly Come Dancing, Sports Personality of the Year. Those are the three events with the biggest liquidity. They tend to have the most activity on the night. But Eurovision is the hardest one of all, I think. If you're new to specials betting, I would actually recommend that you sit it out or you keep your stakes very small. The reason is that Eurovision has so much kind of contextual knowledge that you need to know. It's not like Strictly where you can just watch a performance, listen to the judges, and you get an idea of how things are going. Eurovision has so much more to it that it takes practice, I think. It really does. If you are betting on Eurovision, some things to consider are how does the singer sing live versus the studio version of the song? It can sometimes be very deceiving. What about the staging? Is it going to be distracting staging? What are the costumes like? Are the dancers distracting? Are the camera angles closer or are they long shots? Are there two similar songs that are going to kind of cancel each other out and split the vote? What about regional voting? Are there going to be two countries that are close together that are going to vote for one another? Are there political alliances, Azerbaijan and Russia, who always give loads of points to one another? There's so much to bear in mind that, like I said, if you really are new to Eurovision, I would read up a lot on it, or just keep your stakes very small. That's my advice anyway. There are some markets which, even if you are new to Eurovision, maybe you can dip your toe into. The one that I'm thinking of in particular is the semi-final to qualify markets. They're pretty easy to make money. The odds are very low, the returns are very low, but to be honest, there's a lot of songs here that are guaranteed qualifiers, really. They just can't lose. So if you want to get involved there, then maybe that's where you should sort of dip your toe. The outright market, especially this year though, I haven't even touched it yet. I will be soon, but it's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one. I mentioned TellyStats earlier. Now, if you don't know, TellyStats monitors the performance on social media of various contestants in every reality show, so you can get some idea of how audiences are reacting to them, basically. And you can hopefully tell who's going to win and who's going to qualify and who's not going to qualify. Now, TellyStats does have a good history with Eurovision. In both 2018 and 2019, we got 18 out of 20 of the semi-finalists in our top 10 on our Twitter stats. We also have Twitter Live, which I've just improved this year, like massively. It's had a massive upgrade, so I'm expecting really, really good things from it this year as well. I think, like I said, this year is a tough one to call. And if you're not looking at TellyStats in running, then you're playing with fire. I mean, that's crazy. One other thing I do want to mention is if you are doing your research, which is good for specials betting, be wary of the Eurovision pundits that aren't in the gambling world. The reason I say this is that the Eurofan community has a type. It has a type of act that they like, which may not be representative of who is ultimately going to win. One example that I'm going to give you is that I was in Tel Aviv in 2019 in the press center, and it's a distinct memory that I have. I was on the gamblers table. I was with ESC Tips Gav, I was with Matt and Rob from Entertainment Odds, and I was with Panos Zanetos, who's also another prominent specials bettor. And France just finished their first rehearsal. It was the rehearsal of Bilal Hassani, Roi, and it featured the overweight ballerina. And because of like the inclusive message of it, it got a massive cheer at the end. It was a huge round of applause. The odds for France absolutely plummeted. Everyone was going crazy except one table, our table, the gamblers table. We all saw straight through it. And ultimately, I think France finished 18th in the end. I think they got a really bad televote as well. So that's my advice. Just be very wary of the Eurovision punditry. It may lead you down the wrong path. Try and look at it from a cold gambler's perspective if you can. Anyway, my next uploads are going to be reviews and reactions to the individual songs. I'm probably not going to do all of them because some of them are just boring, but definitely the ones at the top of the market, like I said. I will probably be reviewing the studio versions, although if there is maybe like a live acoustic version of the song, then I will look at it as well. What I will say is that don't take it too seriously. There are songs that sometimes looked absolutely fantastic in the studio version and then absolutely flopped live on stage. And there are also songs that no one really paid attention to and then were massively elevated live on stage. So take what I say with a pinch of salt. I will try and add as much betting content in there as possible, but like I said, don't take it too seriously. One more thing. Even if you don't like these videos, please like, share, retweet, shout it from the window, roll over, tell your wife. The more people know about specials betting, the more liquidity there is there in the market, the better it is for everyone. So please hit that subscribe button and get YouTube working in all of our favor. Cheers.